In this video, we're pulling back the curtain and revealing the untold truth of Justin Bieber's faith. Get ready for some shocking revelations as we unpack his controversial beliefs and explore the real story behind his spiritual journey. From the moment he first encountered faith, all the way to some of the most shocking statements. Trust me, it's gonna be a wild ride. We'll laugh, we'll reflect, we'll get real, and maybe, just maybe, we'll see how Justin's journey could inspire our own. So grab your coffee or tea and get comfy and let's dive in.
Jesus would say to Justin?
I think he would say to him that he loves him, but he thinks that he should be maybe more godly, because lately he hasn't been the best role model.
My mom raised me as a Christian. But as I was growing up, there was so many weird Christians that I came across.
Justin Bieber, a young man who through highs and lows found something greater than himself, something that completely transformed his life.
So let's rewind the clock a bit and talk about where it all started. Justin Bieber's rise to fame was nothing short of a whirlwind. He went from being this little kid who everyone thought was cute with the guitar and a dream posting videos on YouTube to becoming a global sensation almost overnight. The world couldn't get enough of him, his talent, his smile, and of course those catchy songs. But here's the thing that a lot of people didn't know about young Justin Bieber. Behind the fame, the lights, and the red carpets, he had a foundation of faith that was planted by his mother, Patty Millette. Patty was the one who introduced him to God, nurturing him in a Christian home. As he grew older and the spotlight grew brighter and bigger, Justin found himself being pulled in all sorts of different directions, battling the pressures of fame, success, and the temptation that comes with it. I mean, we all know how hard it could be to stay grounded when everything around you is spinning so fast, and it was spinning so fast when he was just so young. Justin was no different. His wild years were a whirlwind of partying, making headlines for the wrong reasons, and facing public scrutiny. It was clear that fame wasn't all that it seemed to be. Justin wasn't just dealing with the typical teenage rebellion. He was dealing with real internal turmoil. He was lost, confused, and struggling to reconcile his faith with his lifestyle. What do you mean? But here's where things start to shift. Justin had a turning point, a moment when he realized he needed something more than just fame. He needed God. After a series of tough events, including legal trouble and public breakdowns, Bieber began to turn back to his faith in a real way. He wasn't the kid that everyone thought was cute who sang songs anymore. He was a man searching for deeper meaning, searching for God in a world that felt so out of control. But now, as promised in the title of the video, we gotta get to the good stuff. Justin's journey hasn't been all smooth sailing, and some of the things he said about faith have really raised eyebrows. He's made statements that challenge traditional Christian beliefs, and some of them have left people scratching their heads. But here's the thing, his words have sparked conversations, and that's what we're gonna be digging in here today. So let's start with one of the most controversial things he said. Religion isn't the same as a relationship with God. Whoa, right? I mean, I'm talking about Neo from the Matrix world. So this statement, right, rubs some people the wrong way. After all, aren't religion and faith supposed to be intertwined? Isn't religion how we practice our beliefs? But Justin is making a very important distinction here. What he's getting at is that faith isn't about following rules or checking boxes. It's about having a real personal relationship with God. It's about connection, not ritual. And isn't that what faith is supposed to be in the first place? Another jaw-dropping statement. Jesus isn't about rules. Now this one takes us even deeper. If you've been raised in the church, you probably know the Bible has a lot of rules and guidelines on how to live a righteous life. I always joke about how in the book of Leviticus, it's unclean to eat pork or pig. Come on now, we all love bacon, but anyways, I'm not to get off topic here. But what Bieber seems to be saying is that Jesus' message isn't about perfection or following a list of do's and don'ts. It's about love, grace, and forgiveness. Is this a challenge to traditional Christian beliefs? Maybe, but maybe, just maybe, it's a reminder that the heart of the gospel isn't about rules. It's about relationships. And then there's this one. God doesn't love me any more or less based on what I do. Whoa, okay, that kind of got me too. But it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that God's love is conditional, that if we mess up, God will stop loving us. That isn't the case, because, we all fall short of the glory of God. We all have fallen short. But Bieber is speaking some deep truth here. God's love isn't performance-based. It's unconditional. It's full of grace. What does the Bible say? Romans chapter 8, verses 38 through 39 tells us that nothing can separate us from the love of God. Not our actions, not our mistakes, and certainly not our successes. God's love is unwavering, no matter what we do. So yeah, these statements have raised some eyebrows, but when we really break them down, we see that Justin is challenging us to think differently about faith, about what it really means to be in a relationship with God, not just following a set of rules.
There's no faith without obedience. So it's like I had faith about I believe Jesus died on the cross for me, but I never really implemented it.
Now let's talk about the church scene for a minute. Bieber's relationship with the church has its ups and its downs, and it's something that's been heavily covered in the media. One church that played a significant role in his journey was Hillsong Church, which is known for its global reach and celebrity pastor Carl Lentz. Carl Lentz became a close friend and mentor to Bieber. Their bond was centered around faith, and Lentz baptized Justin in 2014. For a while, it seemed like Justin was all in when it came to his relationship with God. He was attending Hillsong services, connecting with other believers, and immersing himself in a faith community. But as we all know, things took a turn. Carl Lentz was caught up in a major scandal that led to his outing from Hillsong Church. I'm not judging here. Hey, we all fall short, remember? The church's reputation took a major hit, and Justin distanced himself from the whole situation. This was a tough moment for him, and many wonder if this could cause him to lose faith. I mean, it might cause some people to lose faith, but here's the thing. Justin didn't lose faith. He struggled, yes. He questioned, yes. But he didn't abandon his belief in God. And that's something we all can relate to, right? We've all had moments when we've been let down by people or by institutions, but that doesn't mean our relationship with God has to be shaken. Next up, let's talk about prayer. Now, if you've ever been in a church or around a group of Christians, you probably heard a lot about prayer. But Justin's take on prayer is a bit different than what you might be used to.
We got to pray just to make it today.
For Justin, prayer isn't some formal ritualistic thing. It's personal. It's not about following a set script or saying the right words. It's about speaking to God from the heart. He's openly shared that he's not into religious prayer, but rather just having honest conversations with God. This is something a lot of us can learn from. Prayer isn't about saying the right words or following some prescribed formula. It's about connection. I mean, sometimes when I pray, I just gotta let it go and let it speak from the heart. It's about being real with God, sharing our hearts, our struggles, and our gratitudes. In fact, Bieber has been pretty vocal about why he thinks many Christians get prayer wrong. He's noticed that many believers feel their prayers aren't being answered. And he's been open about the struggles of feeling like God is distant at times. But here's what he says about it. Sometimes it's not that God isn't listening, it's that we aren't seeing the answers in the way that we expect to see them. And this takes me to a topic that maybe we should do a video on, like why your prayers are not being answered, 7 biblical reasons. Comment below, let me know on that. And also, hey, before I go any further, I'm an author of 4 books, links in the description, but we're gonna get right back into the content. There's no such wisdom in the Bible when it comes to understanding prayer, and sometimes we just need to look deeper. Sometimes it's not about God's silence, it's about His timing and His perfect will.
I can't believe Justin Bieber said this about Jesus.
The way I look at my relationship with God and with Jesus is I'm not trying to earn God's love by doing good things. God has already loved me for who I am before I did anything to earn and deserve it.
Let's talk about something that's been really important to Justin over the past few years: mental health. Justin has been very open about his struggles with depression, anxiety, and the challenges he faced. He's not just a pop star, he's a person, just like you and me, navigating life's ups and downs. One of the most powerful things he said is, God doesn't magically take away pain, but He helps you through it. This is such an important point, and it resonates deeply with me because as Christians, we sometimes think that if we just pray hard enough or do enough good things, we'll be exempt from the struggles of life. Yeah, I thought of that. I'm gonna do good so I don't get no beef, I don't get no smoke, I don't get no trouble. But that's not the case. God doesn't promise to take away our pain. He promises to be with us in it. He promises to give us strength when we need it the most. And that's in Isaiah chapter 40, verse 29.
There's so many people who are just so mean. Random people saying like, you suck, you look like a girl. I would shake it off and act like it didn't bother me, but that stuff bothered me. And then it affected how I acted and how I treated people. And it's just this ongoing like cycle of like hurt people.
Now we're getting into the meat of what really keeps Justin grounded on his favorite Bible verses and the scriptures that have spoken to his heart. We all know that life can be full of ups and downs, and there's no better way to find direction and peace than by turning to God's word. One verse that Justin has often shared as being significant in his life is Philippians chapter 4, verses 6 to 7, which says, "Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus." Can I just say that this verse hits differently when you've been through the storm? I mean, anxiety is real, but knowing that God offers peace that goes beyond what we can understand, that's the kind of peace that can calm the craziest of storms. Just like Jesus did when he calmed the storm in Mark chapter 4, verses 35 to 41. Check out that story if you don't know that one. Justin has also mentioned his love for Psalms, the book of Psalms, especially the ones where David is pouring his heart out to God. And that's in Psalm chapter 3 is another one that resonates with them. "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul." There's something so beautiful and reassuring about that imagery. God leading us to still waters when life still feels chaotic. That's the kind of peace that Justin has found in his faith. And honestly, we can all use a little bit of that in our lives. A cup of coffee in the morning gives me peace too. And also, if you'd like to buy a boy a cup of coffee, link in the description or donate to the Super Thanks. But let's peacefully go back into the content. As we've seen with many celebrities, the entertainment industry is not always the most faith-friendly place. I mean, Hollywood with all of its glamour can often clash with Christian values. Justin Bieber has found himself in the exact situation, constantly balancing his faith with the temptations and pressures that come along with being in the public eye. Imagine this for a second. You're young, successful, good looking, surrounded by people who don't always share your beliefs, and every move you make is scrutinized by the world. You'd be tempted too. I mean, yeah, I ain't gonna lie, I would. And I wasn't even half as good looking back then, or half the money either. But Justin's journey hasn't been easy, and he's faced a lot of backlash for talking about Jesus in a place where faith isn't always embraced. But here's the thing about Justin. He's never backed down. Despite the ridicule, despite the judgment, he's been unapologetic about his faith. And this is where it gets powerful, his ability to stand firm, even when others criticize him for it. It's not easy, but it is inspiring. There is one quote he shared a while back that really resonated with me. "I don't live my life for other people's opinions. I live for my faith in God." Now let that sink in for a second. How many times have we been caught up in what other people think of us, what they might say about our faith? But Justin is reminding us here that our faith in God is what really matters. If you live to please others, you'll constantly be running in circles. But if you live to please God, that's when true peace and purpose comes into play. Someone once told me that you can't be all things to all people. Remember that. Okay, let's shift gears a little bit and talk about something really special in Justin's life. His marriage to Hailey Bieber. If you follow their journey, you know that the relationship has been rooted in their shared faith. And that's been a huge part of what's kept them grounded. From the moment they got together, it was clear that the relationship was different. They both talk about how God has been central to their love story. Justin has mentioned that prayer is a big part of the relationship and that praying together as a couple has been key to strengthening their bond. And I was married before, and my ex-wife was not a churchgoer. I was. And that's one thing looking back, I wish I did more, or wish I did differently in that marriage. I didn't pray together with her. It was more like, I'm gonna do church, you do you. If you wanna come, you come. If you don't, you don't. But I didn't encourage prayer, or maybe I didn't encourage more, not try to force her to go, but just encourage, you know? I don't know, maybe I could do things differently though. That was just me reflecting. But going back to them praying together, This is such an important lesson for all of us. In a world where so many relationships are falling apart, Justin and Haley's commitment to each other and to God is a shining example of how faith can be the glue that holds everything together. They've been through their fair share of struggles, and there have been moments when things haven't been perfect, but their faith has been the anchor that keeps them steady, and I respect that. I admire that. Here's what Justin has to say about it. We're building a life on faith. It's not always easy, but it's always worth it. This is a reminder to us that a strong marriage doesn't just happen. It's built day by day, brick by brick, prayer by prayer, and decision by decision.
I remember when I first got married, I hit a little bit of an emotional breakdown because I thought marriage was going to fix all my problems.
So here's the big question. How can we apply what we've learned from Justin's journey to our own lives? How can we build a stronger faith when life gets tough? Well, one thing Justin's story shows us is that faith is a journey, not a destination. There will be highs, and there will be lows, and there will be moments of doubt. But the key is to keep pressing forward, just like Justin did. For me, one of the most powerful takeaways from his journey is the importance of community. No one walks this path alone. Whether it's through a church family, a small group, or even a close circle of friends, having people around you who will encourage you and hold you accountable is huge. Another lesson from Justin's story is the power of vulnerability. He didn't shy away from sharing his struggles with the world. He was open about his mental health, his mistakes, and his journey to healing. And that's something we all can learn from. Sometimes the best way to strengthen your faith is to be honest with God and with yourself about where you're at. And lastly, remember this, your faith doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be real. God isn't looking for flawless believers. He's looking for people who are willing to take it one step at a time, trusting that He'll guide them along the way. So as we wrap up this video, I want to leave you with this. Justin Bieber's journey is a reminder that faith is messy, real, and sometimes controversial. But at the end of the day, it's about a personal relationship with God. A relationship that doesn't depend on our mistakes, our flaws, or our performance. It's about His grace, His love, and His unshakable presence in our lives. I hope Justin's story has inspired you, challenged you, and maybe even made you think about your own faith in a new way. If you've been struggling, doubting, or just feeling lost, know this: you're not alone. God is with you. I'd like to hear your thoughts. Comment below, let me know. Have you been following Justin's faith journey? What challenges have you faced in your own walk with God? Drop your thoughts in the comments, comment below, let me know. I always love reading what you got to say. And don't forget to subscribe for some more deep dives of faith and some more reaction with the Christian perspective and everything in between. Until next time, your journey with God is personal, powerful, and beautiful. Keep walking in faith and keep shining in light. Thank you again for watching. Until the next upload.